So two major dates, September 10th, the very day that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and October 18th, just a couple of days ago, served as two very big days where we had a lot of actors, actresses, and those in Hollywood either politicizing their careers or just doubling down on the typical anti-Trump messaging campaign. And when I mentioned Charlie Kirk's assassination, that's exactly why they actually use that as an opportunity to politicize their careers, to push the anti-Trump rhetoric, and it's only backfiring in every single case. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. Now, one thing about Ricky Gervais, what's so great about this guy is that it all started with Ricky. I believe it was back in 2022 at the Golden Globes when he called out a lot of celebrities on stage, actually live on television, and you could see it on Tom Hanks' face about how embarrassed and how infuriated he was over Ricky Gervais and his comments about celebrity status and about all that nonsense. And what's interesting about this, though, has a lot more to do with Ricky Gervais, yet again, calling out celebrities over mocking Charlie Kirk, politicizing his assassination, and even doubling down on the anti-Trump campaign ever since the No Kings protest took place on October 18th. Now, one thing about all of this is that we know that Ricky Gervais is one of the big-name celebrities out there, and, one of the big comedians out there that really likes to just call out the whole concept of the celebrities within Hollywood. And that's not to say that he's a hypocrite, he's just calling it out like it is, calling out how a lot of these people act in Hollywood. And when I say act, I don't mean act in the movies, I'm talking about how they lash out toward the general public, how they actually force their politics onto the people. Now, let's move on. Now, with both the assassination of Charlie Kirk and the No Kings protest that took place on October 18th, causing endless celebrities to politicize their careers, one major development going on now involves more to do with Ricky Gervais, who decided to once again fire back the many celebrities that politicized Charlie Kirk's assassination, and also the very same celebrities doubling down on their No Kings protest message. Gervais delivered the following: I have said this many times, many bloody times, more than I can even remember, but show business right now is starting to become a political platform. In fact, no, it is already a political platform, since all you celebrities in your mansions just don't know when to stay in your lane. It's absolutely maddening to see what film, music, and television has come to, and all I have to say is rest in peace to Charlie, but what Hollywood has done to this man by deciding to turn his legacy into an anti-Trump hate train, it makes me go mad, wondering how do these privileged actors and those in Hollywood have no idea what they are doing by destroying their careers. And then they go as far to embrace this protest, this very oddly named protest called the No Kings protest that is obviously centered and focused on Trump. It's ridiculous what our industry has come to, whether it's about comedy or acting. And look, I love both arts, but I know when to stay in my lane. The problem is that many of these celebrities live in their own bubble, and they have their own bubbles. Yeah, we are talking about their little, mansions and the walls surrounding them. I mean, if you are going to get into politics, maybe don't be a hypocrite if you hate what this administration is doing by closing the border. It's absolutely insane, and honestly, I'm not surprised one bit. In fact, I will go as far to say that I expected many of these top-tier actors to go losing their marbles when they suddenly realize why their fans have walked away. Because they really have no clue now, do they? Not only are their latest films as valuable as hot dog water, but their political takes are even worse and shouldn't even be there to begin with, because it alienates your core base of fans. They just don't get it now, do they? And yet they have the audacity to call many Americans uneducated citizens. Bloody hell, you see, this is the problem right now, is that Hollywood for more than 15 years now has been driven by politics, and nobody wants to support that. Just here's a test. Look at those very same actors, for example, and the performance of their latest films after acting the way that they are, even to this day. It's because people are moving on. They are like, see you later. They have streaming now. They have social media now. Now, guys, let me just stop there for one moment. Now, Gervais has a point that there are other forms of entertainment out there rising. Streaming is definitely taking over the movie theaters. Social media absolutely is also taking over. streaming, which is very odd. This is actually a transitionary phase. You have a lot of people out there, you know, just strictly using social media instead of either watching movies or television shows. And a lot of actors are calling that, you know, pretty much labeling that as a transitionary phase right now. What's already done and settled, though, is that, yes, people are already over to streaming. They're sticking to streaming instead of going to the movie theaters. You have a lot of people doing that. That's well past the transitionary phase. And we've seen this time and time again. But Ricky Gervais, I think, is the master of calling out a lot of the celebrities that just are very much self-absorbed, actually force their politics onto their own fans, and if you don't agree with their politics, then you're out. They don't want your business. We heard this from Robert De Niro. We've heard this from Rachel Zegler, Alec Baldwin, so many others out there that called American citizens uneducated just because they have a different political take or different political opinion, and that's not how everything should be run when it comes to actors representing specific studios or productions, right? It actually taints the studios, which is why you have a lot of studios abandoning ship, and what I mean by that is they are kicking some of these actors off the ship, firing them, blacklisting them. They don't want to work with them ever again, and that's basically their last-ditch effort to save their image, right? To save their overall the way that they represent themselves to the public. Now, again, he goes on to actually conclude, and that's the reality, I think, that they are trying to lie to themselves about. But it's okay to them, I guess, because they all still have their multi-million-dollar mansions and royalty checks coming in, regardless if they lose work or not. And he does have a very interesting point there, when Ricky actually brings up the fact that these actors seemingly don't care about losing fans in a way. Not all, some of them have been acting very crazy over losing a lot of fans. I'm sure that you all saw Jane Fonda lashing out over losing so many of her longtime supporters. We've seen this also from Tom Hanks and more. And it's only getting worse in Hollywood. But you have some actors out there who just flat out don't care because, yeah, they do have what Ricky mentioned. They have all these mansions, they have all of these walls protecting their mansions, and all these royalty checks just come flooding in endlessly, month by month. So they really don't have to do anything. But overall, I mean, it's interesting to see how Ricky, once again, is calling these people out, and he's really making it ultimately clear that this No Kings protest is only making a lot of these actors supporting it look even more foolish because, once again, they are alienating their fan base, right? They are alienating their overall following, and that's not going to work in the long run, all right? First was the whole Trump, election victory when they actually lashed out. Then it was the Charlie Kirk assassination, and now you have the No Kings protest. These are three major things which are making a lot of celebrities act out, and not in a good way, and it's making them lose a lot of fans by millions of numbers, all right? There's a lot of people just checking out, going to younger talent out there instead that don't get political, and you're going to see more of that. You're going to see more rising stars that are in that younger age range, right? We're talking about those in their late teens, early 20s, at maximum early 30s, really rising to stardom power. But I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.